And this is my technology integration plan, the second one about technology in the classroom for my ETEC 424 Summer 2 class. The technology and assistive technology that I'm most familiar with that I have used personally in the classroom are screen readers, screen magnification software, text readers, and speech input software. I've also used a couple of apps in classrooms such as Google Docs and even like Kahoot and fun game apps like those. Upon graduation, I would like to teach middle school English language arts and reading. I previously worked in public school for a few years with 6th through 8th grade. I was their RTI, which is a response to intervention teacher, and I also taught the middle school technology class when I wasn't with my group of intervention kids. I also helped to implement a program called HYPE that got students active in the community. It helped students with fundraisers, and they would build greenhouses for the community. And we even back when I was a kid, we had the tomato festival, and the kids that were in the HYPE program brought the tomato festival back. It was just really good for the elders in the community to see the students getting out and doing good things for the community. And I worked with the inclusion students, which are the students that were being integrated from special education into the general education classes. And so I sat in reading, math, science, writing, any other classes that I needed to. I also taught a couple of PE classes. I thoroughly enjoyed working with middle school classrooms. A lot of the teachers that I worked with would tell you that the middle school years are the hardest years because the kids are going through so much. Like their attitudes are changing, they're developing their personalities, and just developmentally, they're psychologically, they're just going through a lot, and they could really just it's such an impressionable time, and I just loved it. I'm a full-time senior in college, and I work a full-time job as a preschool teacher. I don't have just a ton of time on my hands, but when I do have free time, I enjoy being in the gym or out on the river and lake and fun stuff. I believe that all students should have access to anything in the classroom that will give them a fair shot in the classroom. Everyone has a different background and everyone learns differently. I learned my freshman year of college, well, earlier on, really, but really dug deeper into it when I was a freshman in college about the different learning styles. I learned that I am a kinesthetic and visual learner. You could preach to me all day long, but if I don't see it, I'm not going to retain it. So I believe that technology and the different apps will help students to retain information better. So I think that if it'll help, man, use. Like I said before, I think it's important because they have different learning styles. Everybody learns differently, and it's so important to make sure that all the kids, students stay engaged in the lesson, that nobody is off messing around, that they want to learn, they're not bored with the lesson and they don't get tired of it. One of out of the five main learning theories, my favorites are the constructivism and humanism. Constructivism says that learners are they're responsible for using what they have learned in previous experience and create their own understanding of things. They have to construct their own understanding of what's going on. And I also enjoyed the humanism learning theory. It's learning is a natural process that helps a person reach self-actualization. I'm in another class that talks about the human need for self-actualization and how important it is. Before this semester, I was unaware that there's an actual list of teaching methods. I mean, yeah, I know that every teacher is different. You're not going to go in to Miss Sue's class and learn the same thing that you learned in Miss Sally's class. or they're not going to teach the same way. You may learn the same thing, but they're not going to teach the exact same way. By far my favorite method would be the student-centered approach to learning. It's a learning that, the teacher and the student are seen as equals, and the teacher is still, authoritative role, but the teacher's role in the classroom is more or less to coach the students and just make sure they're comprehending the material. And students are constantly assessed through group projects, portfolios, class participation, and you can still do formal and informal assessments. I believe that technology can do wonders for the school. I came from a small town school where we didn't have a lot of technology. Small town, we were poor, we didn't have the money for it. Now that I'm older, I went back to my old school and they are trying to integrate it more, but it's harder to catch up to where the larger schools are. Um, it can allow students to get active in different types of ways through apps and games, and just, you know, they can record an entire lecture on an iPad or a tablet. And a lot of schools have gone to one-on-one with Chromebooks or iPads or tablets. So they can record an entire lecture, and just while they're at home doing homework or in study hall doing homework, they can listen to the entire lesson again. In the event, that they don't retain all of the information, they forgot something, they need help on something, they need to work through something, they can go back and listen to the entire lecture again. Also, a lot of teachers have gone to like Google Classroom and putting assignments online. And if the teacher has done that, if a student were to forget like a paper assignment at school, it would be awesome if they could go to the classroom webpage and just see their assignment um, online, so that they know what to do and they're not coming to school the next day without their homework. Technology, can help to make a better sense of community in the classroom because it can help students to better collaborate on projects together. I was in a class my sophomore year of college, and it was an all online class, but every week we had to write a paper with a group. And I thought I was going to have a mental breakdown. I thought I was going to cry because I don't work well with groups. And I just thought, man, this is going to be difficult because how are we all going to collaborate on this one paper? But we all worked together on Google Docs, and it was really the greatest class I've had throughout all of college. I learned so much, and it was just fun, and it was just different, and I think everybody needs that, and just really made like a better sense. Like we helped each other through that whole class. It was awesome. I just think that working together through technology can help to bring the students together, and it allows everyone to participate no matter what their circumstances are. I would like to apply technology to my weekly lesson plans by putting fun apps and games that will quiz the kids on their knowledge of the lessons that we learned during the week. Apps like Kahoot and Seesaw makes things in the classroom fun and competitive for the kids. I don't know if you've ever used Kahoot, but it's more like almost maybe not Jeopardy, but like they ask a question and it's multiple choice and you pick an answer, and then after everyone submitted their answer, it shows, how many kids got it right and how many kids, didn't get it wrong. But I don't believe it shows like who got it right or wrong, so that, you're not throwing anybody under the bus. Nobody feels bad for getting it wrong. Nobody feels bad for not understanding. But now, like then you would know how many kids weren't getting the assignment or the lesson. I would also like to semi use Google Classroom. I still believe in a very traditional classroom, just because I guess I prefer a traditional classroom. I would like to use Google Classroom a little, not to like a full classroom, not like everything's on there, but like so that students could get their homework and lessons and notes or anywhere from outside of the classroom rather than just having to come to me. It's all accessible online. And these are my references. These are the references for my images.